Good morning, students. This is Sandhya from Ashoka Universal School, Ashoka Marg branch. Today, let us study two more non-conventional source of energy, that is nuclear energy and biogas fuel. So, these are the two non-conventional energy resources that we are going to study in this presentation. So, let's go ahead. Now let's understand what is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is obtained from the radioactive elements, that is uranium, thorium and plutonium. This energy is stored in the nuclei of atoms of these radioactive elements. The process that is followed to obtain this energy is nuclear fission. Now let's understand what is nuclear fission. When the atoms of these radioactive substance react, they split apart. And this process of splitting of atoms is called as nuclear fission. Now let's understand in detail how this nuclear energy is obtained. Now let's understand how is nuclear energy used to produce electricity. In most power plants, you need to spin a turbine to generate electricity. And to spin the turbine, steam is generated. Now how steam is generated? Steam is generated by heating water. And to heat water, coal is used, natural gas is used, oil is used, mineral oil is used. In nuclear energy, the water is turned into steam, but the process is different. In nuclear power plants, they do not burn anything to create steam. Instead of that, they split the uranium atoms. And the process of splitting of uranium atoms is called nuclear fission. Due to the splitting of nuclear atom, heat is generated, which helps the water to convert it into steams. As a result, unlike other energy sources, nuclear power plants do not release any harmful gases like carbon or pollutants like nitrogen, sulfur oxide, as there is no smoke released or no harmful gases released during the process of heating. Now let's go to the next slide and understand more in detail. In nuclear reactor, the nuclear fission takes place. The nuclear reactor is designed in such a manner that it can sustain that nuclear fission reaction. These nuclear reactors are filled with specially designed solid uranium fuel, and it is surrounded by water, which facilitates this process. When the reactor starts, what happens inside the reactor? The uranium atoms will split, releasing neutrons and heat. Now, those neutrons will hit other uranium atoms, causing them to split and continue the process. This will go on. This generating more neutrons and more heat will be a continuous process. This heat is used to create the steam, and the steam will rotate the turbine, which powers a generator to make electricity. Now the nuclear reactor vessels, they are very tough steel capsules. The steel metal cylinders contain uranium. Neutrons are fired at the uranium atoms, causing them to split and release more neutrons. These then hit other atoms, causing more to split, and so the chain reaction will continue. And it's this chain reaction that generates the huge amount of heat which is needed to convert water into steam and then to generate electricity. Let's understand more in detail ahead. Now, if you look at in short, how the entire process is. Nuclear fission will make heat. That will heat the water to make steam. The steam will turn the turbines. The turbines will turn generator and electricity will be generated. So in this way, the entire process goes on. In short, we can understand this. Let's go ahead. Now let's understand how this nuclear power plant exactly works. If you look at number one is a nuclear fuel that is loaded into the nuclear reactor where the nuclear fission takes place. Okay, where the splitting of atoms take place, where we have the neutrons and the heat generated. If you look at number two, these are the control rods made up of cadmium and boron, which will help to slow down or to speed up the chain reaction. If you look at number three, the water is pumped through the reactor to collect the heat energy that the chain reaction will produce. Because of nuclear fission, the heat what is generated that will heat this water, which is moving around the nuclear rods inside where the nuclear fission takes place. Okay, it constantly flows around the closed loop. The loop is closed. If you look at number three, the loop is closed. The water will constantly move in that loop. But it is linked to the reactor with a heat exchanger. If you look at the yellow color, that's a heat exchanger. So it is connected to the heat exchanger. Now what happens next? Let's see. Inside the heat exchanger, the water from the reactor gives up its energy to the cool water flowing in another closed loop. If you look at another closed loop beside it, the water is again, cold water is moving to the heat exchanger where it gets heated again, turning that into steam. Now why there are the two loops are away from each other? If you look at number three, that loop of water which gets heated is away from the other loop which is heating the water, and in between there is a heat exchanger. Now why is this process followed? Using two unconnected loops of water and the heat exchanger will help to keep the water contaminated with radioactivity safely contained in one place and well away from most of the equipments in the plant. So if you look at number three, that water is a contaminated water because of the radioactive substance that is used in the reactor. So to keep this water away from the other equipments of the plant, the loop is closed there and heat exchanger is used there. Let's go to number five. The steam from the heat exchanger is piped to a turbine. The steam blows past the turbine vents and they spin around at a high speed. The turbines will rotate with a full speed. Then what happens at number 6? The spinning turbines are connected to an electric generator and makes that spin too. And then what happens at number 7? The generator will produce electricity that flows out to a power grid and that reaches to our homes, shops, offices and factories. So it's very simple. The nuclear reactor is used where the nuclear fission takes place. Water is passed through the chamber where it gets heated, but heat exchanger is used to heat another water in the another loop, which again gets converted into steam, which rotates the turbines. Turbines in turn helps to convert that steam into electricity with the help of generator. In this way, the electricity is produced. Let's go ahead. Now, what are the advantages of nuclear energy? It is like tremendous heat is generated from nuclear energy. It produces huge amount of energy from a very small amount of fuel or small amount of land, we can say is used for setup of nuclear power plant. Does not create smoke which is hazardous to health. It does not create carbon dioxide which is thought to pollute the climate, pollute the environment, and it has a climate change because of that. Produces small amount of waste which if it is handled properly then it's not a problem. Nuclear power is reliable compared to other renewable sources. Nuclear power plants can help to reduce a country's dependence on the import of mineral oil from other countries. There are certain disadvantages also. Although not much waste is produced, but whatever waste is produced that has radioactivity. So it is very dangerous if it is not handled properly. If there is leakage of radiations, then it will remain in the environment for thousands of years. Much of the waste must be sealed and contained to prevent contact with the humans or the environment. Although it is reliable, a lot of money has to be spent on meeting strict commission, operational and decommission safety criteria. Waste from the nuclear power plant remains dangerously radioactive for many years. So it's difficult to dispose of safely. So this is one more disadvantage. Nuclear byproducts can be used to make bombs, and there's a risk of nuclear material being acquired by terrorists. Again, a next disadvantage. Nuclear plants aren't sustainable or renewable form of energy because they rely on mining of uranium. Okay, so if the deposits of those uranium gets over, then we cannot use nuclear energy. Nuclear plants are expensive and it takes many years to construct. Usually, there is a lot of public opposition to create for the construction of nuclear power plants because the waste is dangerous. If any leakage takes place, any radiation gets leaked, then it is very dangerous for the environment and the humans who live around. Nuclear plants can produce long range of air pollution and water pollution which will remain in the environment for thousands of years. Since nuclear power plants require huge amount of cooling water, they are generally set up near the sea coast. Again, it is very dangerous because if the sea level rises, if tsunami takes place or earthquake takes place, then it's very dangerous. At the end of their life, nuclear power plants are very expensive to decommission safely. That means if the nuclear reactors are not working, then also the radiations will be there. It is very difficult to remove the radiations from the nuclear power plant. So these are some of the disadvantages. What is biogas and how is it composed of? Let's understand what is it. It is composed of methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. Methane is 65% the main constituent which is obtained from biogas. Now, how is it produced? It is produced with the anaerobic treatment in which in a closed tank, the degradation of material takes place in the absence of oxygen. So, anaerobic degradation means breaking down of organic matter by bacteria in the absence of oxygen. It will produce hydrocarbon gas, methane and alcohol. The residue that will be left into the tank will be used as manure. This entire anaerobic degradation of animal waste and plant waste takes place with the help of water. What is gobar gas? Now, if you look at gobar gas, this plant, gobar gas plant will use cattle dung, which we find very common in the villages. This cow dung waste, agriculture waste is put into a tank where again due to anaerobic treatment it gets decomposed and methane gas is produced in the absence of oxygen. This gas is used for cooking, lighting, pumping water from the well. It is also useful for the farmer to get, there are two benefits of gobar gas. The farmer will get energy in the form of fuel and it will the farmer will get good quality manure also. If you look at the picture, what are the sources of biomass? That means how biogas can be made. The human excreta can be used. Municipal waste, biodegradable waste can be used. Animal waste can be used. If any organic waste that is generated from industries, that can be used. Forest crops and residue. That means the dry plants and the decomposed matter that we obtain from the forest, that can be used. The agriculture waste can be used. So these are all the sources of biomass. That means to get biogas, these all sources can be used. Let's go ahead. Now, how is biogas formation done by anaerobic treatment? Let's understand with the help of the diagram. Now, what is the source first? Let's understand. The animals, that is livestock waste, the waste from the crops, water is required, and if any biodegradable waste, that is food waste, even that can be used. All this is used in the anaerobic digester. All this is put into the anaerobic digester, where with the help of the water, it gets decomposed with the help of the bacteria, which releases biogas and digest. This biogas is used in making electricity, or it is used as a fuel. This biogas, which we have biomethane, it can be used in the form of biomethane in the vehicles also, and the digest that is left over in the anaerobic digester, that is used as a fertilizer. It is used to increase the quality of the soil, and this helps to maintain the quality of the soil in a better manner. If you look at the gobar gas plant, in gobar gas plant again the cow dung is used. There is biogas generator where it gets decomposed with the help of anaerobic decomposition method. The cow dung will get decomposed, or agriculture waste will get decomposed. Methane gas will be produced, which will be used for burning. The gas carbon dioxide which is released, which will go into the atmosphere, again that comes back on the earth. Carbon dioxide is absorbed by plants through photosynthesis. In this way, the cycle will go on. Let's go to the next slide. Let's understand the advantage of biogas as a fuel. It has high calorific value. It is a cheap fuel. If you compare the energy that is obtained from fossil fuel or nuclear energy, comparative to that, biogas is a cheap fuel. There is direct supply of gas. If you look at the gobar gas, there is no need to store the gas. Directly the methane that is generated from the gobar gas plant is connected to the house where it is used in the form of fuel. So there is no storage problem. Residue that is left is rich in fertilizer, is a very rich fertilizer, which is used in the farms by the farmer. It is clean fuel because no smoke is released. It reduces the burden of the forest and the fossil fuel. Like the people who depend more on the fossil fuel or on the forest, that is wood as used as a fuel, especially in the villages. If they use gobar gas plant, then the burden on forest and fossil fuel will reduce. It is non-polluting, as we said, it's a clean fuel. Can be supplied through pipelines very easily. Burns readily, has a convenient ignition temperature, controls water pollution by decomposing sewage, animal dung and human excreta. So if this sewage, animal dung, human excreta, if it is thrown in the environment, that will cause pollution. So instead of that, it is used in the biogas plant where methane gas is produced and used as a form of energy. So these are the advantages of biogas as a fuel. Let's understand the uses of biogas. Biogas is used as domestic fuel. It is used for heating water and air also in the winter seasons. For street lighting, it is used. Generation of electricity is done. If it is generated, if the biogas is formed in a large amount, then even electricity can be generated. If it is compressed, then it can be used in vehicles also. It can replace compressed natural gas for use in vehicles. If you look at the picture, again it is showing the same. It is used for cooking, generating electricity. The sources are cow dung, the leftover from the bio digester is used as a fertilizer in the farm. So nothing goes waste. The entire chain is closed. Applications, if you look at in some of the countries, there are biogas buses, biogas train also, especially in Sweden. Let's go ahead. What are the limitations of biogas? Or we can say the disadvantage of biogas. The initial cost of installation of this plant is high. The number of cattle owned by an average family of a farmer is inadequate to feed a biogas plant. If we want to generate huge amount of biogas, then more amount of cow dung is required. And every farmer don't have that many number of cattle to feed the biogas plant. So that is one disadvantage. So let's understand the conclusion also. Biogas is a clean source of energy. Understand, children, it's a clean source of energy. Biogas plants have been in operation for a very long period of time, especially if in rural areas. It is used on a large scale. The research organization should focus on new, efficient, low-cost designs. The government should play an important role by giving them legal support. Certain schemes should be developed, technology should be developed, and this biogas should be used on a large scale. This will help to reduce our dependence on the fossil fuel. So this was all about the biogas plant.